Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my podcast. Welcome back to Alter Curated. Today we're going to be talking about lucky girl syndrome and the imaginary rules we make up in our head and like the stories we tell ourselves about what we can achieve if we're the sort of person we are. So there's a certain limitations we put on ourselves when it comes to achieving our desires. Like I can't have love because of this particular trait I have, or I can't possibly get this job because of this particular criteria I don't have. And you don't have to be worthy of things. You don't have to think you're not deserving of things. You just have to want them and be able to audaciously put yourself out there in order to get into their radar, in order to get into their frequency. You just have to be tuning the instrument enough so that it creates a beautiful symphony. And I want to say this. I heard this in a podcast. This is not my original idea, so I full credit to Brand Safe Pod. And I heard Trevi Moran talk about this in a Brand Safe Pod, and she talked about being a trans girl and her identity. And she was like, I felt inferior to cis women because of my identity, and that's a horrible feeling to feel. And that's what she kind of grappled with. I'm not putting that on her, I don't have that judgment of hers, but I'm just paraphrasing her words from her experience. And she was like, I felt like my ex broke up with me because I was like a trans girl and he wanted to date other cis women. And I don't want to have to move through the world like there are these imaginary rules made up in my head in terms of what I desire. And I don't want to have to move through the world as if I'm not exempt from those rules. I have to move through the world as if I'm the exception to every rule. And I want my cake and I want to eat it too. And that's the kind of indulgence in your desires, in your hard work, in your audaciousness, in your agency that we're requiring from women now. Is like being able to put yourself out there and be delusionally confident like men. And there's an analogy Simone Square talked about in her YouTube channel, where every job opportunity she posted about, only a man was persistent and consistent enough to get those opportunities just because they put themselves out there and emailed her multiple times in order to get the opportunities they wanted. And it's not because they were qualified, it's not because they felt like they are pro at this, or like they just were audacious enough to reach out consistently enough to get that opportunity because they showed that they were eager. And that kind of hunger is just not seen in women. Women are told to shrink, are told to be small. Women are told to not go for what they want because what if they're not qualified? Because there's a conditioning in our head, like we can't even ask for the money we're entitled to. Like a man asks for money he's entitled to for the same job, for the same skill set that we're doing in the workforce. So if it's already conditioned into women's brains, of course they will reject themselves before they have an opportunity to apply for the job they want. So it's kind of like we have to be, women specifically have to take the mentality of I am owed this. I'm owed this, this is entitled to me. And there's certain people out there in the world who have nothing to show for their achievements except their mindset, because they're actively manifesting what they want to create. So even if they're in the process of manifesting it and they have no tangible evidence to show for their visionary mindsets, it's like their belief in themselves alone creates the fertile soil and the opportunities for them to attract what they want in life. So, in order for confirmation bias, for manifestation, for these kind of psychological glitches in the matrix, so to speak, in order for them to happen into your life and ground into tangible physical reality, the fertile soil of your mind, of your creative vision should be present. And if you put just the right amount of hard work amidst that audacious mindset, I think you're going to get what you want as easy as Like, you won't have to delude yourself. You won't have to say, I'm practicing lucky girl syndrome. It's just going to be who you are. You're going to be the exception to every rule. And you have to navigate the world as if you're the exception to every rule. Because you want your cake and you want to eat it too. There's no grave that can hold you down. It's like you will resurrect every single time. And in fact, scratch that. There is no rule. It's all imaginary. It's a construct. It's made up. It's conditioned into us. It's drilled into our brains. It's internalization that is existing externally in terms of a societally acceptable blueprint. And you don't have to internalize it. You don't have to absorb it. You can question it and you can be like, there is no rule. I'm getting what I want because I want it, solely because I desire it. I am entitled to my desires. I am owed my desires solely because I want them, and my heart is a compass, and my dreams, my desires are valuable. They matter. I believe in myself, and I'm going to get there no matter what. Is like what you have to affirm to yourself every single day. Is like, consciousness is my only reality. I create my reality through the persistence of my consciousness. And the more I persist in the consciousness, the more I germinate these seeds and thoughts, these fruitful harvests of this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I'm willing to do to get there, and this is how you're going to bring it to me. And the more you kind of pave that path and walk on that road, the more the universe becomes abundant in giving you your blessings. The more open of a channel you become, the more you work through these traumas, these limiting beliefs, and these limitations that are placed on ourselves, whether externally or internally, imposed by external force or self-imposed. The more you sort through these traumas and consistently germinate the seeds of the desires you want and consistently come back like an ocean returning to the shore over and over again to the desires of your heart. In Cinderella's words, a dream is a wish your heart makes. And I think our Lord and Savior Cinderella really took the cake with this one, because a dream really is a wish the heart makes. And if okay, I really want to go on a tangent with this dream kind of magical thinking, Disney kind of stuff. Is I'm not saying this because science and spirituality are two sides of the same coin. I don't think magical thinking needs to be backed up by science to be credible. I think there are enough lived experiences in the world of spiritual women, of romantic women, of yearning women who have been able to bring their ideas, their thoughts, their belief into reality. I think there is enough evidence for it to be a credible, valid way of living, at least for some people and their life paths. And I think there is enough tangible, concrete proof of magical thinking being a valid way of living, and there needs to be no validation for that. I think it doesn't need to be backed up by science for it to be credible, like I said before. And even though spirituality and science are two sides of the same coin that complement each other rather than like disprove each other, I think we should genuinely adopt magical thinking just because of the sheer beauty of it, the sheer devotion of it, the sheer magnetism of it. There's such tenderness in noticing the beauty of magical thinking, and like your vision gets clear, like things taste different. I was talking to a friend and I was talking about grief actually, and I said that things taste different. I am a more fragile, more distressed version of myself because grief has changed me in ways. I perceive colors differently. My vision has changed, my sensory perception has changed. I feel less alive. I feel more apathetic, more monotone, more robotic, more numb. And I feel like I'm surviving life instead of thriving in it. And then I had this conversation with my friend where she's experiencing the opposite end of the spectrum, where she's like, I'm actually, healing did that to me as well. Healing changed my perception of reality. Healing changed how I perceive colors, what I tasted, my sensory perception, and you're just experiencing the opposite end of the spectrum. And so I really want to come back to this quote by Rilke. He said, let beauty and terror both happen to you, no feeling is final. And I really keep coming back to it, like experiencing all spectrum of human emotion is so beautiful, and the capacity to feel that and the capacity to move through that and be an open channel by sorting through your feelings consistently and not letting them fester and stagnate in your body and create problems and create disproportionate reactions to things and create emotional voids to things. I think that is truly an art of careful and fast and quick metabolization, quick alchemy, like a really strategic kind of growth. Is like as soon as something negative happens, you just process it, you move through it, you release it, and then you move on with your day. That is like effective alchemy. And I feel like I lost the art of that. I feel like metabolizing things and like alchemizing them, transmuting them, releasing them through catharsis of any creative expression I would like to like indulge in. I feel like that came harder to me lately. It's like I was not able to alchemize things as easily, and right now I'm like in the process of getting back to that, because I want to be able to transmute things easily. I want to be able to feel like I'm the most clearest open channel, so that I'm open to the blessings and the abundance and the beauty and the devotion and the tenderness that universe has to show me, and the goodness and the sweetness that the universe has to show me. I don't have to have closed fists. I have to have open fist in order to receive. So that's the thing about being lucky. You're never gonna experience lucky girl syndrome in all its entirety unless you address the shadow side of it, which is like the arbitrary, fake, illusory, imaginative, constructive limitations we place on ourselves. And these are limiting beliefs. These are exactly what we call them, is that they shrink you, they keep you small, they keep you in a comfort zone, they don't expand you, they don't feel enlivening, they don't feel enriching, they don't feel soul nourishing. And that's how you know it's not your intuition speaking to you. It's not your conscious mind creating your reality. It's your subconscious wounds that are creating your reality and that are limiting you and that are keeping you trapped. So, in order to work on your subconscious wounds, you have to create a conscious mind that's habitable, that's safe, that's easeful enough, that is positive enough, so that it bleeds into your subconscious wounds and heals them and transforms them, and kind of your subconscious and conscious mind then become coherent enough to create a reality that inherently reflects the work you've done internally outwards. And that does not happen with festering in your emotions, with letting them fester and stagnate in your body and kind of create all these ripple effects that you don't want to have to deal with, because they're symptoms of a root that you haven't addressed. In order for emotional voids to stop being created in you, in order for disproportionate reactions to wounds that have already taken root in your mind, in order for them to hurt, in order for them to stop hurting so much, you gotta address the root of the problem. Is like move your body into action. Don't let these emotions fester in you. Release them. Talk to somebody. Lean on your community. Lean on your support systems, whatever kind you have them, and whatever kind of creative expressions that will allow you to become a clear enough and open enough channel for the universe to give you blessings, and for your subconscious and conscious mind to become coherent enough to reflect your internal healing outwards. You gotta do that, and you gotta do this work consistently, because healing is non-linear, a whole lifetime long, and a messy process, and it's a huge undertaking. But it is an undertaking I would do any day of my life for an emotionally fulfilled life and for a soul that is at peace, because that's the life I chose, and I very well know the trade-offs. I will have to be confrontational with myself. I will have to trust myself. I will have to not believe in the negative things my mind tells me. and I have to consistently go towards growth rather than the easy work of letting emotions fester and not do the transformative task my soul is calling me to do. And so there is another point to be added in this. You got to know the price that you're paying for the life that you choose. So your desires are not that binary, they're not all or nothing. When you pedestalize your desires, you don't see the price and the cost that comes with managing or being responsible for your desires. For example, you want social media fame. You want the good things that come with it, the visibility, the free stuff, the kind of glamour and the community that comes with it. But you don't want the negative feedback, the unwanted attention, the judgments, the paparazzi, the financial constraints like tax filing and stuff that comes with it. But you have to know that every desire that you have, every single scenario in the world ever has a price to pay and a trade-off for whatever good things that come with it. You have to be okay with that trade-off, and you have to consciously choose that trade-off in order to get and go in the direction of your desires. And you have to choose that desires are where you will focus your time, energy, and attention to, and be okay with prioritizing that, even if you miss out on other things. You have to be okay with that trade-off. You have to know what your desires are actually coming with, because with great power comes great responsibility. And if you have the power to go in the direction of your desires, if you have the resources, the tools, the knowledge, the inner healing, the ability to transmute pain, if you have that knowledge, you gotta know there's a responsibility that comes with those things, which is managing the extent, the magnitude of your desires. Because it is all so abundant that you want to be prepared to carry a blessing when you receive it. So, yeah, guys, that was today's episode for Alter Curated on thoughts of shadow self, lucky girl syndrome, and the responsibility of our desires and how our desires are a compass. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, if you guys loved listening to it, loved hearing the wisdom, hearing the offerings that I had to share with you, hearing the perspectives I had to share with you, please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps me out immensely as a small creator. And I would love to see you in the next episode with some feedback, some comments, some here and there, some chatter around my stuff. Yeah, so some juicy, delicious banter around my stuff. I just want to open up a conversation and see how you guys feel about this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one later. I hope to be consistent. Again, please keep me accountable. I want to be consistent with posting in my creative practices on Substack, on YouTube, especially on Instagram. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. I have a Discord server link in my bio too. And I have a Gumroad journal prompt bundle shop. So, bye.